we are disguising a cow. And this is much like disguise a turkey that you do around Thanksgiving time. You're going to get a blank picture of a cow. You're going to need to color it. You can see here I've colored the udders, the nose, and the horns. Everything else I can leave black and white, or you can color the whole cow brown if you'd like. There are brown milk cows. We're going to be disguising this cow with dairy products. And so be thinking about how you can disguise your cow with dairy product. After we color it, we're going to need to cut it out. So we're going to cut this out. There are some problem areas. The back is easy to cut out. You just cut it out normal. However, once you get to the head, make sure not to cut this line to cut the head off. Also, the legs become a problem area too, along with the tail. So I left them on there to show you how I'm going to do it. So I've already cut the outside of this tail, and I've cut up this leg like this. But instead of trying to completely cut this at a complete turn, I'm going to start back up this tail here, starting at the bottom, and I'm going to cut back up to where I finished. Like that. Now the tail has been cut out. The same thing with these two legs. I've cut around this leg and I've cut around this leg. Now I need to cut up to this leg, and instead of turning it all the way around and trying to cut back down, I'm just going to start at the bottom of this foot. I'm going to cut around the foot, and I'm cutting back up to where I finished the last time. That's a good trick for any time that it comes to a point to just get to there, and then it cuts out like this. Now that I have my cow cut out, let's come up with an idea of how we could disguise the cow. We're going to be trying to use dairy products. Dairy products are milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream even. There's lots of different dairy products that we could come up with. One I came up with uses cheese, and that's nachos. And so I had to figure out what size I needed my nacho boat to be. So I set my paper onto my cow, and I kind of sized it up. And so I know that this is going to cover up the majority of my cow. So I could set it there, and that's how I cut out the boat part, the part that holds the chips, kind of like the plate. Then I folded a brown piece of paper in half and cut out triangles for the chips. I also took a marker and added dots for the chips. Then I took a yellow piece of paper and I cut out the cheese. So I used a yellow piece of paper to cut out the cheese. And then I've glued it all together. Now I'm going to have to glue it down to my cow, but I see that it's covering up the face. So I'm going to show you how I can make that face pop out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around this ear, and halfway down this face, but I'm leaving it connected, so it's not completely cut off. That way, when I put my boat on, my nacho boat, it fits behind the head, so it looks like his head is popping around the nacho boat. I'm also going to try to stick the legs in. This is not necessary for most projects. You don't have to stick the legs out of your nacho boat, but it is something that you could add if you have extra time. But if you don't have extra time, then it's something that we don't have to do. It's not necessary. But the way I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up here, up the leg, and then also up this leg. And I'm going to have to split this leg here by cutting up that line to where if I wasn't sticking these legs through to add this little extra piece, I wouldn't have to cut up that leg at all. But you can see I've separated these two front legs. I'm going to mark where they're at here, and I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to put a slit into my nacho boat here. Just like that. And that will allow these legs to pop through them. So if I can get it through, it's not the easiest thing to do, but I've got one leg through there. See if I get the other front leg. Okay, I've got both front legs through, and just like that. Most important thing about this project is that it's high quality. We want it to look nice. Gotta be very careful I don't rip the paper as I'm working it through. I don't want to rip that leg off. And then I can just slide that head on top there, and it's ready to glue down. Okay. And that's what mine looks like. I have the tail coming out the end here, and that looks nice. Okay, it's your turn to try to think of a dairy product to disguise this cow. Have fun.